our December priorities. I know we're at the end of November right now, but the thing that really kind of gets to me is just like you guys have a scorecards for your stores, right? We have scorecards for us as DDPs as well, and those scorecards are based on how all of our stores as a whole do each and every month. And there are some major categories on there, which are boost key focus, and they're key focus for us at DCI as well. And it's things that are all controllables, right? Things that you guys can help control at your door level, which is going to make your business more successful, make your store more profitable. And when I see the DCI is not leading the way in a category, it's like, okay, we need to put more attention on it, shine more of a flashlight on it, because these are easy things, easy priorities that you guys should be focusing on to help make your store as profitable as possible, help make yourself as a rep as much money as possible, and kind of be the leader in the wireless industry when it comes to that total solution for your customers. So in December, some of our key priorities we're going to focus on is increasing your value-added services. That's your device protection with Likewise. Increasing your DOP activation. So DOP used to be referred to as BTN, but BTN is a network, not an operating platform. They've changed the terminology there to DOP, Digital Operating Platform, or you may hear it referred to as GSF, which is Guided Sales Flow. In other words, it's Elevate Web. Now that we have white and black SIM cards, everything should be done online unless it's an old customer you're doing an add-on to, or ACP, which we're still working on getting that on the digital platform. Right now, that's an orange SIM card only sale. And then, of course, increasing your store's ACPs, which is a huge opportunity for all your customers and for your stores. Cheaper bill for your customers means more money for your store, and your compensation is paid just like a tier 1 or tier 2 sale, depending on your price plan. And lastly, increasing your 3MR, which you may say that's harder to control, but you do have tools like Smile and Dial to help drive those customers back into your store to make those third month payments. So let's jump into it. Before I get into your priorities, I do want to remind you guys that there is the Marimoto Incentive Contest that started November 18th and actually goes through January 5th. So you have this through all of the month of December. In the start of January, and basically you have to register on the Motorola Insider site, which there is the QR scanner on my slide. If you need a copy of this deck today, reach out to your DCI account manager and they can forward you the copy of this deck. But you'll get $5 gift cards for every Motorola you sell on top of the commission that you normally make at a store. And there are some great prizes out there for you guys to win. So I want to make sure you guys are taking advantage of that. You can get up to $300 in sales by selling Motorola. Starting November 18th. So if you sold some already and didn't log them in, you can still log those. And again, that goes till January 5th. All right, so let's get into our priorities, right? Let's start with, I want to say it's probably the easiest one to coach or to adjust if you don't have a high value added service attach rate in your stores right now. When I say value-added services, think international calling to Mexico and think adding device protection to your customers' phones. So it's all about how you're pitching your customers. And when you think about it, think about when you go to any restaurant, right? It doesn't matter if it's Dairy Queen, McDonald's, Hardee's, Portillo's, whatever's in your neck of the woods. Whatever you go to, everything's bundled in a quick kind of value menu pricing. So when you're thinking about the cell phone industry, it should be no different. You should be bundling it as one price for your customers as well. You always want to start higher because it's easy to go down if you start at a higher price point than it is to go up. If you start low and you keep adding money, that's an extremely difficult sell. Majority of the time your customers, if let's say, for example, you're doing a $50 plan, right? And you're doing a $50 plan and you're going through Elevate and you haven't pitched them on device protection from the start. You're going through Elevate, then you get to that screen. Do you want to add $7 for insurance? The majority of the time you pitch it that way, and if you are doing that, I'm sure you've seen it, you're going to get no. I'll keep my bill low. No, I'm good. But that same customer, if you pitch that like a value meal, it's going to be, let's say, $67 or say $57 a month. I'm going to talk text data plus protection, and that's just in your pitch, right? So I'm not talking 50, I'm not talking 60, I'm talking 67, I'm talking 57. If I'm doing family plans, I'm going to do the math on there. But for this example, to make it kind of easy for you guys to kind of think about, is $57. I'm going to talk text data plus protection. Boom. Okay, cool. I'm good. Let's roll. It's all in how you're pitching your customers. So you want to qualify them, right? I kind of skipped over the qualifying questions. Do you watch Hulu, Vudu, Netflix, anything like that? If they say yes, okay, you're going to go on our $67 plan, limit talk, text, data, high definition video plus protection, right? If you start on that higher pitch, you're going to get yes majority of the time. And another thing that we see for customers, don't take that first no. You have to overcome objections. You guys are in sales, right? So if they say, oh, well, it says 50, you have to overcome that objection. Again, I'm switching back to that $57 pitch that I gave initially, right? So customer says, no, well, your sign says $50. Well, yes, Mr. Customer, but that doesn't have device protection. Majority of our phones are broken within 30 days. And even though you're getting this phone today for free or for $20 or whatever that price point may be, depending on the model, right? You can tell them the outright price of this phone is $200, $300, $400, whatever that price is. The outright price of this phone is $250 or $300. So it's not, we want to make sure your device is protected. So if it breaks, you have to pay a small deductible and you get a phone the very next day. It covers lost, stolen, destroyed. No matter what happens to that phone, you're covered. So we want to make sure your device is protected walking out that door. If they still give you a hard time, you overcome those objections again. You tell them, well, hey, look, I want you to have this in here. If you don't like it, next month when you come back in, let us know and we'll take it out here. But I'd be doing you a disservice if I let you walk out the door without having that device protected. Again, if you don't want it next month, when you come back in, just tell us and we'll call and we'll have it removed for you. Now, the reality of that situation is customers don't have insurance or device protection replaced in month two. They don't take it off. I think the stats are out there. Sunna from Likewise was covering it. It's about 90% of customers who add it will keep it on there. So you'll have maybe 1 out of 10 who will say, no, I want to take it off. That's fine. But the numbers are proven that it does stick when you add it on. Hold on 1 second, guys. I got my dogs barking. Let me take care of that real quick. 1 second. And I'm back. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're giving that higher pitch and then make the customer tell you no, make them tell you no multiple times. So if they say no, you tell them you're doing a service if you don't have that on their phone. And if they still say no, you can kind of tell them, after you say, hey, I want you to have this on there. If anything happens to your phone, so protect, you can tell me month 2. If they still say no to that again and say, hey, I strongly recommend this, I have it on my phone, it would be a big miss. You can't add it later, right? If you don't add it today, you can't add it next month. So let's at least have it on their point of sale. Now, if they tell you no for a third time, that's fine. Go ahead and you can take it off there. But the key here is to make sure that you guys are doing everything you can to make sure that it does stick for your customers. All right. Any questions on that increasing your value-added service? I know that was geared towards specifically device protection, but don't forget your international calling to Mexico too, right? So international calling to Mexico is very big. It's actually Mexico and Canada. And surprisingly enough, I've been at stores where I say those other words. Is there anyone you know in Mexico or Canada? Because $5 gives you unlimited calling. And I have a customer like, oh yeah, I have family in Canada, right? So don't forget that little detail on there as well as a value-added service. But use that assumption close, put it with every customer, and you'll see those numbers increase. All right. Any questions on value-added services before we move forward to DOP? All right. DOP, Digital Operating Platform, Elevate Web, formerly called BTN, now called GSF, Guided Sales Flow. So many ways to talk about DOP. But guys, if you're not using this for every available customer, key takeaway from this call, make it a turning point for your store that today and moving forward, every customer that can go on DOP, you guys are loading on DOP. Now, let me give you the whys, right? So you have the white SIM cards and black SIM cards now. So everything should go in that. I'm going to call it guided sales flow. You know, DOP, I'm going to call it guided sales flow, right? So the white SIM card, which is the Boost Expanded Data Network, that is T-Mobile activations on the guided sales flow. Just like the orange. A white SIM card is like an orange SIM card, except it can be used on the guided sales flow. So DCI, we direct ship those SIM cards to all you guys. If you need more, order more. You know, put that in your notes for today. Order more of the white SIM cards. And then we have the black SIM cards, which is the BTN network, the Boost Transform network. That is the AT&T network. So now that we have both the T-Mobile and the white SIM card, and we have the AT&T and the black SIM card, available on the guided sales flow, every new customer that's new to Boost walking in your door should be on one of those two offers. The only exceptions is if you have, let's say, an existing family who's coming in and they have the orange SIM cards, then you need to do the add line on an orange SIM card, right? Because you have to have the think of it as whatever color the SIM cards are, they kind of have to stick together. So if they have orange already, it has to be orange. The only other exception is an ACP sale. If you're doing an ACP customer on a phone, that still has to be the orange SIM card. You cannot do it on guided sales flow. Now, this is a key priority because eventually, hopefully sooner than later, we're going to make everyone's lives much, much simpler, and we're only going to have one way to operate, and that's going to be on Elevate Web or the guided sales flow. The legacy BEDN will be sunsetting. Okay, we don't have an exact date on it. I know for those of you who are in Vegas, they talked about by the end of the year. Now, realistically, they're not going to hit that date, but sooner than later, that will be coming, as is evident by now. We have both networks on the guided sales flow, right? There's just a few more pieces for them to work out in the back end before that's it. So if you are not fully comfortable in the operating platform on Elevate Web, you need to get fully comfortable on it as of today. I mean, you should be already, but if you've kind of held back or you haven't been using it, let this be your aha moment. Okay, I got to get with this. I got to learn it. You know, they say it's quicker. You know, I know there's times where sometimes it goes down, and so that causes a little bit of frustrations. But when it's working, it works great, and it is much faster. And when it goes down, I understand the frustrations. I go to stores every day. I see what you guys see, so I totally understand that. But when it is up, there's no excuse for you guys not to be using that guided sales flow. Okay. Now, when you do black SIM cards, which is the AT&T network or the BTN, all activations have to stay with black SIM cards. If you do the white SIM cards, which is the Boost Expanded Data Network or T-Mobile network on Elevate Web, they all stay with the white SIM cards, okay? So you can't kind of mix and match networks is the key call out here. So you'll notice even under quick links on the sales portal, where it used to say like BTN resources, it now says guided sales flow resources, because again, BTN was simply a network. It wasn't an operating platform. So I think we all kind of just spoke about it maybe incorrectly when we would previously talk about it. So they kind of reworked those words and what they call it. So Elevate Web or GSF, guided sales flow, is the normal terminology you guys will hear moving forward when it comes to DOP, Digital Operating Platform. So a lot of acronyms, right? Key thing to remember, Elevate Web, right? So I call it DOP, they call it guided sales flow, they call it Elevate Web. The key thing to remember is if you can activate a customer on a black SIM card or a white SIM card, that should be your primary way of activating your customers. That should work for any new customer walking in your doors in every scenario, with the exception of an ACP customer or an existing customer who already has orange SIM cards who is adding another another user to their existing plans. They have a lot of great promotions that are out there that are specifically for the guided sales flow, like the free iPhone SE port-in offer, iPhone SE 2 port-in offer, the Moto G5 port-in offer. So make sure you guys are looking at the promotions in the buzz to seeing which offers are available for your customers, because there are offers geared just towards guided sales flow, right? And on top of that, it's a profit driver for your store, and your customers get more data. So like the WIFM, what's in it for me? Well, more money for your stores, more data for your customers. And this is our future, so you need to get on board with it. We want to see at least 70% of all of your activations in December on the digital operating platform. Also, guided sales flow. Those words are interchangeable. Any questions on DOP before I move forward to the ACP section?
I do have a question. Can you hear me?
All right.
Yeah, go ahead. We do hear you.
And I will continue.
Adam,
increasing ACP. Guys, this is the big gold mine, and I know we've had it for a couple years now, but the traffic's not stopping. I mean, we're getting customers every month still coming in for ACP. So this is just such a remarkable offer, especially as we get kind of towards the holiday season, and maybe people's money is a little short because they have to buy presents for their families. And you know, then even starting next year, it's going to be tax time again, so they'll have more money. But I want to kind of remind you guys of 4 different dealers' behaviors when it comes to ACP. And this was a screenshot. This from 4 random dealers. And the takeaway for me was pretty big. You saw one of them that was crushing handsets. They were doing ACP on almost all handsets. They had conversion rates 32%, 72%, 68%.
I think Adam cannot hear us.
So just fantastic, fantastic numbers when it came to ACP. Then you had, oh, hold on 1 second. I think someone was talking and I didn't hear a question. I got a text. Let me back out and see if I can hear you guys.
You got everyone muted, Adam. I think.
My screen at. There we go.
Hi, Adam.
Unfortunately, his
I got you now.
Speakers were off. Yeah.
Nope, they were on. You saw it went from 72 to 82. It was not muted. It was just, I don't know, the sound wasn't coming through. All right, I got you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. A couple questions about DOP. What do we do with our AT&T customers and switching them over to BTN? I have a situation with a ghost port that's happened more than 3 times, and I had to RMA a phone and send it back. Do we have any update about AT&T customers porting to Boost Mobile?
So those ports typically go through, don't they? Is this just like a one-off you're having, or are you telling me you're seeing this?
I will never do a needle in a haystack situation, but it happens often with AT&T customers. I don't know if other dealers are having a similar situation.
Yeah, I've seen Diana saying she had a few of those as well.
And then I had a question about the wire with that. We post in the wire often. How soon do we get feedback? Because instead of us reaching out to our AEs, our staff, I'm a director of operations, but our staff are having difficulties with the wire and getting a response in a good time, fashion manner for our customers. Do you have any feedback on that?
I have not. The wire is the new and supposed to be the fastest way. So
yeah, I think your best bet is to be working with your local Boost rep on that. I think they get that request. So I think I would follow up with the local Boost rep on any of these questions through the wire.
Unfortunately, some of our stores, we don't have a local Boost rep, like an account executive there.
That should be then it should be the ISM though, right? If you don't have the rep, the ISM is actually taking the ownership of those accounts at this point.
Okay. I guess someone just clarified that at AT&T, they use the white SIM cards instead of the black SIM cards. So someone in my company actually spoke to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So that is interesting because that shouldn't be the case, right? The white SIM cards.
No, what I mean is porting over people from AT&T onto the white instead of the black.
Yes.
And you're saying that goes through?
Yes.
That's what the network guidance on SPG says we should do. If it says
Oh.
AT&T, port them over on white.
Okay, interesting. I'll follow up with Boost on that as well, because
So I think
based
that's just a recommendation for you guys to take the customer from AT&T to the opposite network. But that was a suggestion that came in the early days when they implemented the BEDN on guided sales flow. So I think your best bet is to be really asking your customers if the network that they are on right now, they're switching from, is that offering them sufficient coverage in their home or in the place where they work. I would imagine that you want to basically provide the customer with the best experience. So it doesn't have to be always, if you are on the AT&T, we have to put you on the T-Mobile network. I don't think that's the case.
Well, no, because we've had quite a few instances on the black SIM card for only AT&T postpaid. AT&T postpaid onto the black SIM card, it makes the port pending and reserved for a customer, and then it takes a while for me to revert it back to AT&T. And then if it goes through BTN, they don't receive calls, text messages, and then the dealer support. It's very complex moving it forward on a black SIM card than it is on a white SIM card. The black SIM card AT&T service reflects onto AT&T postpaid customers. I guarantee you that.
Well, I hear you, but I think it sounds like setting yourself for a failure in any of these possibilities, because who can tell that the T-Mobile coverage is sufficient there, right? We have some markets where there's absolutely zero coverage for T-Mobile, and then dealers only use the AT&T activation network for any port.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you put them on a white, you're putting them on T-Mobile.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of the difference. Definitely.
Yeah.
I just want the AT&T situation. I do got a lot of customers that leave from AT&T that come to Boost Mobile, that quite a few of my doors, they do have issues that are considered as ghost ports. I don't have one situation. There were quite a few. I have a few RMAs that were because of that, instance. I do have a follow-up question that I think it's easier. When will we be able to transfer our TN customer with the orange SIM card over to BTN? Or DOP, I'm sorry. Do you know when that will be a case?
I don't think you want to do anything like that right now. I don't think the system is ready for that.
Okay.
I wouldn't proactively do that, because I think it's going to be asking for trouble at that point. Knowing how the platform is built right now, I just don't feel confident about doing that.
Okay, good to know.
But once we have some more details on that, when we will be able to do that, we will definitely let you guys know.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've asked that too, right, to Boost leadership, and they don't have any expected date, right? So, I kind of mentioned at the start, they talked about, hey, maybe this will be the only thing by January, but to be honest, kind of the rumblings I'm hearing is it might not be till the middle of next year. So we just kind of have to stand by. Maybe there'll be some new news on that. And then I saw another chat come in. What if they no longer want T-Mobile and they want AT&T now?
I will go based on their coverage, Diana, and see. A lot of customers, they don't know the difference technically. They like the name of it. If I were you, I would just go to the Cricket website to see the AT&T service, and then I would just use the coverage map on the SPG sales portal for T-Mobile service and go based off of that. But I would just go based on your customer service, telling them which would be better for them and are a better fit for them.
I would do exactly the same thing, Renata.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering my question. So sorry you couldn't hear me and I interrupted.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. My fault. So, I don't know why you weren't coming through, but I love when you guys ask questions. It makes this much more fun for me. You guys get a lot more out of it than just listening to me talk nonstop. So.
Well, I like hearing you talk, and I appreciate so I'll let you continue.
So maybe just a clarification for Diana's question, right? You were saying in the chat that T-Mobile is messing up in my town. So really, it's up to you really to sell the product that you recommend to your customers, right? So based off what your personal experience was and what the other customers recommended. So just because someone says, hey, I want to be on the T-Mobile, it doesn't mean that you have to sell them on the T-Mobile.
Right. All right, so kind of just jumping back into where I was at, and you guys feel free to stop me anytime. Sounds like my speakers are working now. Feel free to interrupt. So I just want to talk about like the different behaviors, right? And if you hop on this calls every week, you've seen this slide before, but it was just a dealer that's crushing ACP with handsets. And my key takeaway is that's the biggest way you should be selling ACP on handsets, not $0 handsets, but at least the 5, the 20, or the 30. Now, why is that? You want customers to have skin in the game where they still come into your store month after month, right? So if you're doing the handsets, and really 5 should be 12, right? As we talked about earlier, we bundle and add device protection. So really it should be your $12 plan, your $27 plan, or your $37 plan. Those customers are going to have skin in the game, so they're going to come into your store each and every month to pay their bill. And you can always pitch add lines, with any extra cases, screen protectors, all that good stuff. That's the way it should be. We've had dealers in the past that kind of lost faith in ACP, and they had big numbers and they've taken tons of payments. They're not selling any ACP. That's such a huge miss. It's such a huge opportunity. If you guys aren't pitching ACP for every customer, change that behavior. It's such a huge profit driver. So change that behavior in your stores today. Then we had dealers that were focused on tablets and broadband, and they were doing good numbers with ACP, but it was all tablets, or the broadbands back in the day, right? That's not the way to be as profitable as possible, because tablets, your store only makes profits in month 1, whereas the phone you make profits just like it's a new customer walking in your door. And then you had the balanced dealer who's selling tablets and handsets, which I like that. That's a great way to do it too, because you do the phone pitch for ACP. The customer doesn't need a phone. I don't need any more lines. Okay, no worries. I can get you a tablet, especially now for holiday season. You pitch in the ACP on the phone. They don't want it. They don't need it. Then pivot to that tablet, which is a great opportunity to have such a low price on a tablet with service for a year. Just have to make sure they use it every month. So just kind of wanted to point out, which dealer are you? So only you guys can answer that question. Are you the dealer leading with the phone offers? Then that's great. Are you a disengaged dealer? Then you have work to do. Are you focused on tablets? Then pivot to do more phone offers and tablets. Or are you balanced, which is also another great opportunity. All right. So again, making that shift, leave the handset offers. It also is proven to increase your 3MR. So when the dealers who are doing these great jobs selling ACP phones, they actually did a breakdown, and I asked them, I said, how do you know your ACP 3MR is so much higher than your regular 3MR? I'm like, I don't see that in my DLAR. He's like, I'll show you. So he pulled up his EPA report for me, and he went in and then he did a full detail report, and he factored it by ACP customers and non-ACP customers. And his ACP customers were pretty much all $20 plans or higher, because he's not selling any $0 plans. They're all $20 plans or higher. Those customers had about an 87% 3MR take rate, if not higher, which is about 15% higher than his regular 3MR customers. Because that customer is paying a bill, think about it in your own life. If you had to pay a bill, and your bill is either $57 or it's $27, it's much easier for you to pay that bill if it's $27. So, simple economics when you think about that equation, and it does hold true. It's proven out. I've seen it for multiple locations. I'm like, wow, that 3MR rate is so much higher if you're doing ACP on the handsets. So that's really the gold mine there. And when I talk about, what's the best pitch for it, it's giving customers 6 plans. We have our 5, we have our 35. Both of them have unlimited talk, text, and data, and 10 gigs. Then we have our $20 and our $50 plan. Unlimited talk, text, and data, 12 gig hotspot, and you get 35 gigs of high speed, or a 30 or 60. Unlimited talk, text, data, 30 gigs of high speed, and 35 gigs of the high speed, and 30 gigs of the hotspot, right? Well, when customers look at these, they'll say, well, 5 is the same as 35, 20 is the same as 50. Well, why don't I just go on the 20? Oh, that's great. That's our affordable connectivity plan. We can run and see if you qualified. Do you by chance have SNAP, WIC, or Medicaid? Or are you a veteran? I can see if we can get you qualified for that offer. That's the government assistance plan. So you get everything that's on the $50 plan or $57 plan for only $20 a month or $27 a month, right? So when you pitch it this way, and give them 6 options, you're going to crush your ACP numbers. And it's easy to talk customer out of that 5, right? Because if I talk about a 5 or a 35 gig plan, oh, I get service for $5 a month. Yeah, but that's only 10 gigs of data. You're going to run out of that so fast. I strongly recommend you at least go up to the 20. You know, if they qualify, then you got them on the $20 plan or 27. I'm saying 20 to make it easy for the conversation piece, but always bundle in your device protection. But when you offer customers 6 rate plans, you present it this way to them, it's almost automatic. You know, some people have this printed out on a sheet, like what plan do you want? And they customize it and they ask for the information that's on a regular ACP application. They fill it out, boom, they run it, get these customers out the door in no time. So huge opportunity for you guys to increase your ACP using this methodology. For time, I'm just going to kind of skip over again to 3MR. What I want to talk about in 3MR is using Smile and Dial to push your 3MR. You guys, we haven't been focusing on Smile and Dial and visits, and the number of calls, at least on the doors that I'm going to, has been pretty depressing. You know, this was a big focus item for us earlier. And not only do you have all your customers whose 3rd month bill is due, but you can push them on ACP as well. But when I see customers who aren't making their 10 calls a day, they're not even making 5 calls a day, this is a free resource that is exclusive to Boost. Cricket doesn't have it. Metro doesn't have it. You guys have this. If you're not making your 10 calls per day, what are you doing? You guys aren't getting paid to sit there and look at YouTube videos on your phone, right? Now, if you're doing 300 activations in your store and you're so busy, okay, that's fine. You're busy enough. It's hard for you to make your calls. But I'll tell you what, I've got stores that are doing 200 or 300 activations, and they still have time to make their 10 calls per day, right? So there really is no excuse. So get back to utilizing Smile Dial to drive your 3rd month payment. Hey, this is Adam from Boost over at 123 Main Street. You got your iPhone SE from us. Just want to give you a courtesy call, check and see how your service is working. Everything is good? Hey, great. By the way, do you by chance have SNAP, WIC, or Medicaid? We have a fantastic program for you where I can get you a line of service with 35 gigs for only $20 a month. Is there anyone in your family who might like additional line? You know, they say yes, no, whatever. They say no. Okay, if they say yes, finish that call out. Okay, perfect. By the way, your bill's due on November 30th, so you got 2 days in. Come on and see us. We can't wait to see you, and thanks for being one of our best customers. All right, bye. Right? You click it, you disposition the call, but this way you're getting those customers in to make the 3rd payment. You're pitching ACP, you're pitching add-a-lines. Get back to Smile and Dial. You can affect your 3rd month payment by reaching out and being proactive with your customers and driving them back to your locations. All right. Lastly, last day today for that $200 e-gift card promotion. Just want to give you one last reminder on that. The Black Friday $200 e-gift card promotion. Today is the last day. All new devices sourced by DDPs, BYOD, and Renew devices are eligible. New and poured-in customers, single line activations only. So if you're doing family plan, it's only the primary line. ACP is not eligible. Email address must be entered correctly into the guided sales flow or the sales portal rather at time of activation. And then after the 3rd on-time payment, they'll get an email to get that $200 e-gift card. So I want to make sure you guys are aware. You have one last day to get those sales out today. All right. And the rest of our promotions that are out there kind of will go to January 5th. So those are all all under in the buzz or under current promotions. So like the BOGO on the Moto G5, it goes till January 5th. So you actually have this promotion for the entire month of December as well as the ACP promotions. Your add-a-line promotions go till January 5th. The free iPhone SE when you port over. All that stuff is going till January 5th. So again, take a look at the buzz or take a look at the current promotions under the sales portal for all of the news and info on those and all the devices included. But I just wanted to give you the reminder that the promotions we have out there, besides that $200 e-gift card, pretty much go till January 5th. All right, and that is it for today. I'll open up. Are there any last questions?
Yes, ACP existing line. I've noticed just comes across to a lot of Boost dealers. Staff gets discouraged to decrease a family plan, assuming that counts as an ACP new line. What is a great sales tactic to teach our team to convert into a family plan into an ACP? Did that question make sense?
I think I got it. So converting an existing family, so let's say let's just say it's two, me and you, right?
Yeah.
You're saying we have two lines, and you want to make mine on the ACP, and you be the secondary on my ACP.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that is great service for your customer, and it helps your dealer out. But to be honest, that's not a big profit driver. You want that new line. You're not getting paid on the ACP on that. So what you're doing there is basically customer service. So if I'm going to do that, I'm probably going to charge, a setup fee or a maintenance fee for doing that. So there's some profit there, because honestly, you don't get any benefit for your store. I see Diana saying new line ACP to move the old line over. Yes, I mean, that's the goal, right? But we're saying if it's already two people, we're just making one an ACP. But yes, if you can get if they don't care about having the same number, putting the new number as ACP and then moving the other line over, then it qualifies as a new number. But I get that question a lot. And if you're migrating an existing customer to ACP, you're doing a great thing for your customer base. But you don't get that profit driver like you do. And so that's kind of the challenge there. But if you can get a new number out of it and then take the other line to be their secondary, then it does qualify as new. So
I'll make the secondary into the primary new line to get the proper credit for ACP new line?
No, you have to, the ACP would have to be a new number.
Right. So if the secondary line is a new line, if I'm doing a new line, I make them primary to consider
Yes.
it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That was the only question I have, and I appreciate your time, Adam.
Oh, I appreciate your questions. All right. Any other questions out there? Well, thank you guys. We will have the holiday music starting next week in December. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's now okay to put your trees up if you don't have them up yet. The permission is granted. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you next Monday. Thank you so much.